Okay, so we're finally getting around to my next project. This is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be about 9 inches in diameter. It's going to be Sycamore. It's going to be an offset bowl with colouring inspired or directly stolen from Gary Lowe, but he's okay about it because I've asked him already. So that's obviously good. Cheers, Gary. Hopefully this do us justice, me and you working together like a team. With this one, what we're going to do is going to be working with ebonising lacquer and also this glitter. This glitter is it's quite a subtle finish, but hopefully it will go over the black ebonising lacquer and give like a glitter effect. Also, we have the Painter's Touch gold and silver. I will water those down to give the effect that I want. So yeah, so I've already got this scrap piece hot glued on. I will be working on the bottom, and then that bottom will go in this jam chuck here, and have some hot glue because I'm a bit of a chicken with jam chucks, especially when they're spinning this sort of weight on. So hot glue with that, and then we can offset the bowl and we can do what we want to do with it. So keep watching, and if you like what you see, obviously hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. Let's all have a party. Cheers. Right, so we've got to get a bottom here down to about 3 inches. That will fit in my little jam chuck, which is about 3 inches. Obviously, going to take it down a little tiny bit at a time to make sure it's a very, very snug fit. But yeah, off we go. So, tool, shield. Let's get started. Rightio, so we've finished the base now. That's super shiny, lots of chatoyance there. Amazing stuff. Very, very shiny. Took a lot of time sanding with the grain on this one to get rid of all the little marks. It's not a bad finish at all. Here's the bowl mounted in the jam chuck. I just made it a bit round. Now this bowl was a very tight fit in this. It probably wouldn't have come off. It was a solid clunk when it seated in, and like Gary Lowe says, you know, if it clunks in on the final tap, then you know, it's seated well. But anyway, I did spin it. It was very, very firm, but I just chose to put some hot glue beads around the edge. They won't attack this or anything because it's so shiny, and I'll be able to heat those and peel those off nice without leaving a mark. But it just gives extra strength, and because this is the first time I've sort of done one of these bowls that I'm just about to do, I want to be safe, so better safe than sorry. What I've got to do now is I've got to make this surface totally flat. I don't want any, not like the Trailblazer bowl where I sort of came down. It was a very slight sort of gradient from the middle down to the edge. I don't want it at all. This is going to be totally flat, because I'm not putting the actual dish of the bowl in the centre. I'm going to be putting it over here somewhere, or you know, towards the edge eventually. So that's the reason for it being in this jam chuck, because all I've got to do is find the centre of where I want the dish to be, and then drill a hole in the back here, and then I can do the dish. Right, to get a really good flat surface, I've sort of scraped off this, so it's pretty nice and flat. I've checked it with my square. I'm just rubbing it across the surface, and it shows you any high spots. A couple really small ones there. Now the way you get a totally flat surface is you get a block of wood with a very flat edge, and you use it, put some sandpaper on it, and you basically put it across the whole thing like that, and then obviously that will take out all the high spots that make that perfectly flat. Right, so here it is off the lathe. I've actually taken the chuck off. I was just going to take the screw out, but I thought, no, let's take the old thing off, and hopefully it'll be alright. Now there are quite a few scratches on here, so obviously my sanding wasn't as good as I thought it was. It's always good to do things like this, because then it actually shows up. You see that one there? Look. There's a few sort of little bitty scratches around here. Oh, there's some bug holes there. Yes. Never mind, we'll play with that, and that can be a feature. Yes, I intended to put those there to make a feature. Wink, wink. So there we go. So now I've got a decent brush, nice fine, and here's the glittery stuff I'm going to put on it. Let's give it a go. Using the silver cool, isn't it? Look at that. That's awesome. I haven't even finished yet. Okay, so looking at it, fresh day. Guess what I did? Ruined it. I haven't ruined it, but look. Smudge. Bollocks. I guess you look, can you see the other intentional mistake? I've got to offset it 2 inches and it's right next to bed bars. Woo! Luckily I have a rotating headstock, so I shall hopefully use that and do it. But I'm really pissed off. Really pissed off. Okay, so this is new. This is this is going to be fun. This goes back to me wanting to do things that I probably shouldn't do at my skill level. Yeah, this is going to be definitely interesting. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to be doing any cutting yet. I should just probably watch this for about 10 minutes and just figure out exactly what I'm going to do. But you can see roughly what I'm going to be working with, and hopefully this will make it quite interesting. So the idea is to do, it's going to be cut here, or anyway the circle is going to be here. So what I'd want now is a gold ring, which I'm actually going to cut into to do the dishing out. So I'm going to get me gold paint on a brush and see what happens. I mean, it can only go wrong, can't it? So you know, fingers crossed I can get something out of this. If not, I just have to take it all back to wood and start again. No biggie. Unfortunately, this was slightly off when I was spinning it, so it was sort of, you know, this side was sticking out more this way and this side wasn't. So I've just been chatting to nice one, Steve. Yeah, I've just been chatting to Steve Twidell, and he said to use a wooden shim or wedgie and then hot glue it in. But I'm going to use this, and don't worry, it's not actually going to stay in there. I'm going to actually, it's an old crappy old screwdriver, so it's going to just be cut off, and some tape put over that to stop it from flying out. But I'll be this side, I'll have my headgear on, everything, that won't come out. I'll stick some hot glue in there as well just to make sure it doesn't come out, but that is not coming out. I mean, I've whacked that with my hammer. I mean, look, here we go. Just that ain't coming out. Live wild, eh? Live on the edge. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to cut that off there, put some hot glue, stop it from coming out, put some tape round. It definitely won't come out, folks, don't worry. I'm not going to actually spin it with that going round, because even I would admit that that is slightly dodgy. I don't know, actually, it looks kind of groovy like that. Maybe I should just leave it in. Imagine that whizzing around at high speed. That go thunk in that door there. It's got to be a bit of a laugh in it. Okay, so here is said bowl. Here is lack of block. Here is block and here is screw. You will notice that they are not together. This is not an intentional thing. Unfortunately, the bowl came off and fell on the floor. Let's just say Dave is not a happy Dave at the moment. I've marked on this little bit of tape roughly where I want the bowl dishing out to be, or to start. So I just put gold from about there onwards and see what happens. Could all go wrong, but I'm gonna persevere with this thing. This thing has really you know what it's done to me. Not anymore. I'm going to try and cover that smear up, that horrible, horrible smear. So I'm going to turn it on, and this is weird. There we go. Check it out. It's all gone weird. So anyway, gold paint, brush. Oh, do I? Oh, I can't. It's too much. Hang on. It's just, so if I put it on there, it's going to go like that. It's going to go like that, isn't it? How big do I do it? It's only going to be a little dish, so I have to do it about there. Right, okay, let's do it. Ready? It looks too weird. Right, let's stop it and see. Yeah, that'd be alright. So, at least I can see that circle now, it's not freaking me out so much. Right, so we just put, not too much, but enough on. That won't make any sense to anybody but me. So, I'm actually going to paint it on by hand. Too much. Right. There we go, that's starting to sort of come out a little bit. I have to put a little bit more. No, just have to keep it going a bit, so excuse me while I move the lathe out a bit. Lovely. Oh, that was a close thing. Right, so this time I'm not going to go anywhere bloody near this. This is it. Okay, so I've sharpened up my tool. I can still only get about 400 revolutions a minute. I've bolted down a lathe just to stop it moving, but I couldn't turn it up that fast because it was just shaking. I don't want to damage the lathe, so this is not going to be pretty. I'm literally just trying to get through it. I'll probably have to do a lot of scraping and a lot of sanding afterwards because of the speed that I'm having to cut this at. So anyway, let's get on with it, see what happens. So here we have the bowl. I've done it as best I can. There's a lot of tear out in there. You know, there's a few tool lines. I think had I had a larger block behind this to sort of, you know, give this side a bit more weight, because as you can see, let me just show you. So around the back you can see that the weight really is right down the bottom. So what I would do next time is I would put a larger glue block on here, much larger, and then the actual bowl wouldn't be sort of, it would still be offset, but the weight would, I'd be able to get faster because the weight would be more evenly spread on the actual chuck. So yeah, I'll try that next time, but you can probably see a lot of the tear out in there, tool marks. It's not, actually it's not too bad. I mean, it sort of looks like my first bowl did when I first did it, so it's not too bad. I've just got a lot of sanding to do, so you know, I'll do a bit on, I'll sand a bit on the lathe, and then I'll just do a lot of hand sanding. Hopefully, you know, this is more like an art piece, so it will be, you know, it's not going to be used or anything. Well, I assume it's not going to be used, but it's just for art's sake, really. Rightio, so I've sanded in there up to 400, and now we're going to put the lacquer on. I'll try and do this as evenly as I possibly can, from a distance about 10 to 12 inches, so that's probably about here-ish, if you just see that in the corner of the camera. And we're just going to do even coats, light coats, probably do a couple of coats, and then that's it, and then it's done. That was an experience, I can honestly say. That was definitely an experience. I thought there was sort of complications with the Trailblazer bowl, but nothing compared to this one. This one's shown its own challenges, and to be honest, I'm sort of glad to have finished it, but I'm sort of not, because I put so much bloody effort into this thing. I'm really happy that it's finished, but I really enjoyed every process through this, even though they were all really challenging. So here it is. This is what I'm calling orbit. The idea is that you've got like a planet there with like solar rays coming out from it, and then you've got another planet just crossing in front of that, or you know, orbiting the larger one. That's gold. I don't know if you can see it. That's gold round the edge of that, and that's silver there. The smudge was under there, but that's been covered by the gold. This was incredibly difficult to do. So if you see that, the actual bottom actually turned out to be one of the best bottoms of the inside of the bowl that I've done so far. It's coming out of that centre bit. So there we go. Just before I go, I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. Sounds a bit weird actually, because originally I only had one. Obviously you've got to start somewhere, but that I was quite chuffed to have one, to be honest. And so thank you, Martin, for subscribing for me to me first off. But now I've got over 120 subscribers, which is mad, really. Either I'm mad or you're mad for subscribing. I've got no idea, but thank you very much. And if you've got any ideas for products, let me know as well in the comments below. But until next time, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.